I filed for divorce because my husband over-tightens all the jar lids. His habit of over-tightening jar lids has been an issue since he started visiting my house when we were dating. Initially, it was just things he used, but over time, it became every single glass jar with a metal lid. He would tighten them so much that I couldn't open them without assistance. It wasn't a huge deal if he was there, but if I was alone, it was very annoying. More times than I can count, I've opened a new jar of something because I couldn't get the existing one open. It's been a recurring cycle over the past 5 years. It would escalate until I had a major meltdown, screaming, frustrated, and seemingly crazy because it's just a lid. Then it would get better for a while, but slowly become an issue again, getting worse and worse until I reached a breaking point. Sometimes I literally feel insane for being so upset over jar lids. He initially claimed that he did it to keep food fresh. After many arguments about it, and my insistence that I don't believe it keeps anything fresh, and even if it does make things last longer, I don't care if it means I can't eat my food when I want, I said I would just replace things that go bad because they are closed normally. Then the excuse was that it's a habit. About a month ago, my husband had a family emergency and had to travel out of state for 10 days. On the first day he was gone, I discovered a jar I couldn't open. I was annoyed and was going to the store to buy new pickles when the neighbor said hi and offered to help while my husband was out of town. I asked him to wait, got the jar, and he opened it. The next day, I saw him outside and asked him to open another jar. He offered to come and open all the jars. I agreed, and he came in and opened all the jars except 2, which he couldn't get open. I thanked him profusely and told him I'd bake some of his favorite cookies later in the week. He laughed and said it was no big deal. After confirming that I wouldn't be upset if the remaining 2 jars were destroyed in his attempt to open them, he took them home to his garage to open them one way or another. He said that he's heard me screaming about over-tightened jar lids a few times over the years and has wondered if I was crazy or if my husband was really over-tightening the jar lids. He said, "You know this was intentional. It was every jar. And I'm sure he doesn't regularly use hot pepper paste or mango puree or any of your other fancy cooking stuff." Then he held up the 2 jars he couldn't open and said, "I don't know why he's doing it, but it wasn't an accident." After he left, I locked the door and sat on my kitchen floor and cried. Then I felt hot and lightheaded. I vomited in the trash can. My chest hurt. It crossed my mind that I might be having a heart attack. I thought about calling an ambulance but sat back down on my kitchen floor instead, okay with just dying if it was a heart attack. Later, the neighbor came back with the open jar of hot fudge and apologized that he couldn't save the figs. He said he broke the jar trying to get it open. He also apologized for what he said about my husband doing it on purpose. I assured him it was okay. I couldn't sleep that night, tossing and turning. I called out of work. By 10 a.m., I realized that I couldn't stay married anymore and made an appointment with a lawyer for the next day. There are literally no other issues, no cheating, no abuse. We have good intimacy, both have good jobs, a nice house, no financial issues. He was absolutely blindsided when he came home, and I told him I wanted a divorce. He still won't admit that he tightened the lids on purpose. He suggested we go to marriage counseling, but I refused. There is no point. I just can't get past the jar lids. I still feel a little bit crazy about that. I have no idea why he would tighten every jar lid so tightly that I couldn't open it. He has given me no reason. He still won't even admit that he did it on purpose. But the hot pepper paste is in the back of the fridge. I use it only when I make Indian food. It's behind other things. He's never used it. It's not something you could put in food without cooking it. The pepper paste could not have been an accident. It couldn't. Maybe he put mango puree on his toast or in his oatmeal, but the pepper paste couldn't have been an accident. That's what my life comes down to. I'm getting a divorce because the lid to my hot pepper paste was over-tightened. If it had been every jar except that one, I could try. I could have a sliver of doubt. I could do something else, but I just can't get past the hot pepper paste. Most of our friends and family either think I'm crazy or a jerk. Any thoughts?
If you want a part 2, comment and click on share and more.